Good morning, Smartdoll decor today. As you can see, Mirai has a little cushion here. Great as a little scatter cushion. If you've got a diorama or you've got a sofa or you've got a bed or whatever scene you have, or it's just a nice little cushion for the doll to have. It looks quite nice. Nice and simple to make. Little sort of pillow inside it as well, because you can't just put stuff in, so you will be looking at how to make that as well. I'm going to pop Mirai to one side. I just wanted her there so you could see approximate proportions, so it gives you an idea on how it will work with the Smartdoll or any other doll of a larger size, really, or it would make a very large cushion for a small doll, whatever you want to do there. So what we need: double knit yarn, stuffing, of course. I've made the little pillow, which we're going to go through the details on making, so don't worry about that if it's not something you've done. My various needles and stitch marker, cotton for sewing the cushion up, pop that to one side. My needles, a 3.5mm hook, and I'm going to be using this gorgeous double knit yarn in a variegated pattern. Of course, you don't have to use a variegated, it's just, as you may have noticed, I like my variegated yarns. It is quite a simple pattern, but there is a popcorn stitch in it. Do not worry about the popcorn stitch, because all it is 5 trebles that you then pull together. They are that easy. It's based on a pattern that I had in one of the issues of Simply Crochet, so it is based on a pattern of mine. So you've got sort of permission to do it, so to speak. So let's just get going. We're going to start with 5 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already had it on the hook, didn't I, today? Obviously you want to be starting with a slip knot onto the hook first. Now we've got this 5 chain and we need to turn it into a loop, so we're going to pop our hook into the first chain. We're going to grab our yarn, we pull it through and we pull it through. Tighten this piece up, because otherwise it gives you an extra loop, and this little loop here is where you're going to be doing all these first stitches into. So we're going to start with 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to pretend that 3 chain is our first treble. We're going to count it as our first treble. In fact, we're going to do 4 more trebles all into this hole in the middle. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to lengthen that and take my hook out, because we're going to be doing our first popcorn. Now this is the beginning popcorn, that is why it has to start with 3 chain. All the others, unless it's a beginning one, will be just 5 trebles, but they all work on the same system. I've only pulled that long so I don't lose the stitch while I'm moving it about. I'm going to pop my hook back in the top of the 3 chain. I'm going to grab that loop, I'm going to tighten that loop so it doesn't fall off the hook when I grab it, and pull it through so it pulls all those stitches together. I'm going to do 2 chain, 1 and I'm going to do 2. Now I need 3 more of those, because as you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're working on at the moment. So yarn around the hook and 5 trebles into the hole in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'm going to do the same as I did last time. Pull that a little bit longer so I don't lose it. Take my hook out, count back to my first one of the 5 into the top, grab the loop, pull it tight and pull it through. 2 chain, 1 and 2. So we've got 2 popcorns now. We need another 2, so into the space with 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Pull the loop long so you don't lose it. As you get used to it, you don't have to do that so much, it just makes it a little bit easier. Take your hook out into the first of the 5, grab the yarn, tighten it up and pull it through, and 2 chain. So we have 3 now. We have 1 more of those to do. I absolutely love popcorn stitch. I'm doing a scarf at the moment and it says it wanted clusters. I don't like doing clusters, so I've changed it all to popcorn and it just looks as good, so I'm quite happy with that. Right, into the hole in the middle then, and 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out into the first, make sure you're getting both parts there, tighten it up, pull it through, and 2 chain. So that's our 4. Now the actual joining's a little bit weird for our next slip stitch join because it's at the back here. Let me just take that out a second. It's here. So it looks a bit odd because you're like, oh, where am I doing it? Is it top of the 3? Is it, oh, it doesn't look like you can do it anywhere. But it is just at the back of the popcorn, about there. Make sure you're getting a nice tight stitch there. Don't get a loose bit. So we're going to do that first. We're going to slip stitch join. Yeah. But then I want to tighten this up. So you know the first chain you had, first stitches, pull it tight. And let's pull it up a little bit. So we need to go on to our next section, which is going to be on our corners. So I want to slip stitch into this 2 chain space. I'm in. There we go. We have to start with 3 chain because it's the beginning of our round. And now I'm going to do 2 more trebles. Remember UK terms, so it's just 1 wrap for a treble here. Then I'm going to do 2 chain, and into the same 2 chain space I'm going to do another 3 trebles. This is making our corner, as you will see in a second. So it's another 3 trebles. So I'll stop again. So we have 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. That is a corner. We need to make this a corner, this a corner, and this a corner. I'm going to do 1 chain. I'm going to find the next 2 chain space and I'm going to do 3 trebles, 2 chain and 3 trebles all into it. So that's my 3, 1, 2 and another 3 trebles. Absolutely love this yarn. It's sort of quite heathery, reminds me of, sort of it's got those purples and then the greens, and I just think it's a gorgeous yarn. So that's another corner. 1 chain. Quite often don't do 1 chain on my granny squares, but it is required for this one. Into the next 2 chain space, can't speak. Into the next 2 chain space, we're going to have the same. 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. Now, if this popcorn is not a stitch you're used to doing, it might be that worth just watching the video first before you decide sort of what you're doing with it, or have a practice just at the stitch. I haven't got a popcorn, no, I haven't got a popcorn tutorial up, I don't think, but there are lots of people out there. But it's really simple. It is just 5 trebles pulled together, but we need another corner, so I need that chain first. Don't forget the chain, and into this one, 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. Now I need to join, so in the top of that 3 I'm going to just do a slip stitch. So I've joined it together, so you can see we've got a little tiny weenie cushion at the moment. Now I don't normally do this again for a granny square. I would normally go straight here, but I want to get to this corner. So we've already done a slip stitch into the top of the 3 chain, so we need to do 2 more slip stitches into the top of the 2 trebles and then a slip stitch into the space. So off we go. So I've got a slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2 and a slip stitch into the corner, because I want to start on a corner in this particular situation. We have to, new round, so we have to start with 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Now it's a corner, so every corner, if we have a look at this one, can you see the corners are all the same? Each corner is just the 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles inside each other. So we're just going to be doing the 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles all into this 2 chain space, remembering that 3 chain counts as our first treble. So there's our 3 trebles. We need 2 chain and another 3 into that same space, another 3 trebles should I say. 2 and 3. If I'm going a little bit fast on these, don't forget you can slow me down. It's very hard to know what speed to work at, because obviously I've got people who are very experienced crocheters who are probably going, oh, she's a bit slow, and then I've got those that obviously are beginners, and obviously I have to slow down a little bit. I know what it's like to be a beginner, you know, we've all been there, but sometimes it's hard to get that sort of right medium. So if it is a problem, just slow me down. You might not want to listen to my voice then, but you can at least see what I'm doing perhaps a little bit better. So that's a corner anyway. The next one is going to be a popcorn. So after that corner, I want to do a chain, 1 chain, and there's going to be a popcorn in here. Remember, a popcorn is just 5 trebles. So just do me 5 trebles, and then we'll work the rest out after. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take it out, find the first one, grab the loop, pull it through, 2 chain. That was simple enough. The next one is clearly a corner, so it's going to be 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. So 1, 2, and 3. Just unroll that yarn a little bit. 2 chain and 3 more trebles into the same space. 1, 2, and 3. 1 chain at the end. The next one, because it's a side one here, is going to be a popcorn. So remember, 5 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now there are popcorns that are different. This is a 5 treble one because I wanted it to really stick out, but you will find others, so don't presume all popcorns are 5s. There will be different ones. Let me remove those so they're not distracting. Right, so into that first one, grab our loop, pull it through, 2 chains. There's always 2 chain after we do a popcorn. Corner next, 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. Just a granny square corner. So that's our 3. We need 2 chain, and we need 3 more into the same space. 1, 2, and 3. 1 chain. So unless it's a popcorn, it's 1 chain after. So we have a popcorn next. So 5 trebles first. So just break it down into the 2 parts. Oh, I like this green it's gone on to. 3, 4, and 5. Take it out, find the first one, pop it in, tighten that up onto the hook so it doesn't slip off, pull it through. 2 chain. Corner time, 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. I'm inclined to remember things as little patterns, the sort of little combinations. So it's just the way I learn things, but obviously you'll have different ways of doing it. So 1, 2, 3. So I tell myself every time it's a corner, it's a 3, 2, 3. I know what that means, and if I'm writing a pattern out rough, that is what I would write. Then obviously I change it for writing up for people. Oh, don't forget that 1 chain. Side one, so we have a popcorn. So we need 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take it out into the first one, grab the loop, pull it through, and 2. Now we have the 3 chain here, so we're going to just slip stitch into the top of that, and we'll have another look at what we've got. So again, you could finish it at that size if you want, but we do need another round where our popcorns are going to be. So you mix like a little 3 there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going to be making next. So our next round is the corners will be the same, but we're going to have a popcorn either side of this popcorn. So we're going to get started, I think, into the corner like we did before. So we've slip stitched there. We're going to slip stitch into the next 2 as well. I've got to remember when I write the pattern out for you guys that we've done the slip stitch into the corners, because like I said, generally don't do it. So we're right into that corner, and we're going to start with 3 chain, 2 trebles, 2 chain because it's a corner, and 3 more trebles into the same space. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain. Now can you see there's a hole either side of this popcorn? So we're going to have a popcorn in this space and we're going to have a popcorn in that space. So just 5 trebles into that space. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out, pop it into the first one, tighten, pull it through, 2 chain. Now that's the second side. 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out, pop it into the first one and pull it through, 2 chain because it's after a popcorn. Remember, we've got a corner next, so it's 3, 2, 3, remember, so just 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles, all into the same space. I do know I have a tendency to speed up when I'm doing granny square base things, so probably I'm a little bit quick. I apologize if I am. 1, 2, 3. I've actually decided, because I love this yarn so much, I'm going to make a throw in this yarn for our sort of front room. If you're in the UK, front room, I don't know, sitting room, lounge, whatever you want to call it. But I just think it's just so pretty, because this pattern that we're doing now, you could continue out doing exactly the same until it just gets bigger and bigger, which is quite nice. Right, again, 1 either side, popcorn either side. Did I do a chain? I didn't. Chain, that's better. 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out into the top of the first one, grab the yarn, tighten it, pull it through, 2 chain, and a popcorn at the other side as well. So we need our 5 trebles, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out, pop it in, tighten, pull it through, 2 chain, corner time. You can see we're almost there. There's not much to it. After we've gone round this round, there is just 2 rounds of double crochets, and that is it. Right, corner then, 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. Oh, nearly lost that one. That's 2, 3, 2 chain, 1, 2, 3. If you're not sure where to slow me down in the settings, please give me a shout and I will point you in the right direction. I didn't know about it until my son told me. 1 chain, and we need a popcorn. So we're on a side. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Join the popcorn together. If I can get the stitch, that is. There we go. 2 chain. Popcorn the other side. 5 trebles. 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out, pull it through, and in we go. 2 chain because it's after a treble. We've only got 1 more corner to go. 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles, all into this same space. So that's my 3 treble. Oh, my wool split then. There's my 2 chain. There's another 3 trebles. And I need 1 chain. And our last 2 popcorns are coming up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let me move that up again. It's determined to follow me. take it out, pop it in number 1, tighten it up and pull it through, 2 chain, last popcorn, 5 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take it out in the first one, push it through, 2 chain and slip stitch join into the top of the very first 3 chain. There we go. So we have our shape. You will probably want to give it a little, I find when you're doing popcorns you need to give it sort of a little pull, and this sort of stretches them out nicely. We're going to do 2 rounds of double crochets. The first round obviously is a little bit weird because you're going in spaces, but the second round is just a basic double crochet round. So I need to go in the top of these 2 first, so top of the trebles, but when we come to a corner I need 3 double crochets in it, 1, 2 and 3. Then be careful because this can sometimes cover, I'm going to take that out, it can sometimes cover the next stitch and it's there, and you do have to watch that because you do need to make sure you get 1, 2, 3 then into the space, otherwise it will tighten and curl your work up. So make sure you do get every stitch. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, and I'm coming to another space area, and I'm going to put, I know that was 1 chain there, but I am going to put 2 in, 2 double crochets. It will work that way because I'm not going to touch these popcorns. I'm going to jump to the next space and do 2 double crochets. You can go into the popcorn, some people do that, but I wanted an easier way of describing it. So we're going to go into the next space and 2. So whenever it's a space, you're going to be doing 2 double crochets. If it's a treble, we've got to go in the top of each of them. So we've got 1, 2 and 3, but the corner spaces are the only one that break the rule. We need 3, 1, 2, imagine it needs a point, and a point would be 3. Then I have 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. I've come to a space, I need 2 double crochets. I nearly said trebles then. I'm going to jump over the popcorn and in the next space 2 double crochets, jump over the popcorn in the next space, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in each of the next trebles. We have a corner, so I need 3, 1, 2 and 3. We have 3 trebles, so I need 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. We have a space, I need 2, 1, 2, jump over the popcorn into the next space, 2, jump over the popcorn in the next space, 2. We have 3 trebles. Very easy to miss that first one, so be careful. 1, 2 and 3. We have a corner, so we have 3. 1, 2, 3. Everything's sort of 3s whenever there's a corner, I think you'll find. Right, we have 1 in each treble. Dear me, I do need to think what I'm saying. We have a space, so I'm going to have 2 in the space. Jump the popcorn, 2 in the next space. Jump the popcorn, 2 in the next space. We are round. We are round. We just need 1 in there. I'm going to just do 1 in there because I want to stop a second before I do that last one. Because again, you can see how it's curling a bit. Just give it a stretch. If you were doing these perhaps squares for a blanket, you might actually sort of pin it out. Sort of. What's the word? What do we call the word? Ah! Dear me. Anyway, you'd stretch it out, sort of maybe dampen it, pin it out to get the square exact. Because it's a cushion, we're going to get away with that. So you don't block in, that's the word I was looking for. So you don't need to block this, but just give it a little stretch. We're going to do 1 more round of double crochet. So I'm going to just speed it up now. Just speed it up. So don't worry about it. Just pause me, you do your round and come back to me perhaps when you've finished it. Because I am going to go faster. Because you don't want to watch me just doing double crochets because it gets very hypnotic. And I know when I've been tired I get quite sleepy when I'm doing it. It's anything to sort of send me off to sleep. We need these double crochet rounds because we are going to be crocheting it together. So it's sort of easier if you've got a nice double crochet round. There we are, nearly there. I think we've done 2. You could have popped it, in fact that's why I did put the stitch marker there, because I was going to put a stitch marker in, but I just got carried away. That's my second side done. I think 1 and a bit, 2 and a bit actually. If you're still with me, or you're keeping up with me, or you're in front of me, hello. You may have paused me though, so you won't hear me say that. So I'm on a 3rd side. Or am I on my 4th? I really don't know. Soon find out when we get to where I started. I would recommend you do pop a stitch marker in, because it's sometimes quite hard to see when you're doing double crochet rounds where you started. It's one good thing about a treble, you can always see where you are. Yep, it's there. That's where we started. So last little bit. Do not fasten off your yarn. I will say this again, so apologies if I sound like I'm repeating myself, but for those of you who fast forwarded me, they won't have heard me say it, so I'm going to have to say it again. Right, I'm going to stop there. No, it's 2 more. I'm not going to stop there. 2 more. Right, I'm stopping there. I have not, do not cut your yarn. Keep it, because we're going to be crocheting the 2 together. Now, obviously, we need the right side outwards for both of them. Yep. We hold them together. You can pin them together. That is one way of doing it. But I am just going to go for it. So I'll just make sure I know where my corners are. So corner lined up with corner. Happy with that. I'm going to go into the next stitch and then the equivalent stitch on the other side and do a double crochet. Into the next one, pick up the one on the opposite side and double crochet. Pick it up, pick it up. Make sure you get in all 4 pieces of the tops, yeah? Pick it up, pick it up. I think your corners are probably the hardest bit to get right. Pick it up. There, I'm missing it. There we go. Sometimes it's easier to sort of pick up one, for example, then look, where's the next one on there? Oh, it's there. Then pick it up and pull it through. So there's different ways of doing it. If you're happy just crocheting something together, just go for it. But obviously, if you're not used to it, or if you don't want to do it, you could just sew it together. Entirely up to you. I just quite like the effect that crocheting something together creates. Shall we get the other side equal? Now give it a stretch, make sure I've got my corners. Just sort of stick my fingers in it there so I know I've got the corners. That's good. At least it's easy enough to undo if you've misjudged it as well. This is my second side. Oh look, we've got a corner now there. That's all good. As long as your corners are going to line up, you should be okay. If you've missed stitches on the opposite side though, you'll suddenly find your corners are just nowhere near. So always check sort of halfway along a line that you're doing it okay. As I say, it's easy enough to undo, but you don't want to have to be undoing unless you have to. Now for demonstration purposes, I will be stopping. I have to stop anyway because I've got to put the little pillow in it, but I'm going to stop at a certain point to go through the details of the little pillow that goes inside, and then I will complete it 100% after. I don't think you're going to need to see me do that. We'll see how time goes really. So what am I on? I'm on 29 minutes. I was hoping to get it under that timer. There's a knot there. That's where I finished the last one off on the other side, so you do have to be careful with that one. There we go, we've done it. Make sure my corners fit corners. Yes, they do. means it's going to be in 2 parts, the video, so I have to put it together when it does that. If it goes over 33 minutes, strangely enough, I don't know why the camera does that. It's not a problem though. Let's see how much we've sealed in. Can you see we've sealed, get a little pocket creating there? I think we can go right up to about there before I'm going to stop, before we're going to look at the other little pillow part. Be careful. Can you see what I did there? I've got 2 parts there and I've only got 1 part there. That's not good. That would make it loose. Push it through. Make sure that there is 2 parts there. I hope you can see that clear enough. It's weird, the light, when I'm looking at it through the camera, looks quite dull, but it seems to be okay when I actually upload it. So I'm not quite sure. It's just the angle perhaps I'm looking at my phone. You could actually have made your little cushion in advance and just gone for it, but I needed to show you the pattern, so we couldn't do that. Right, I'm going to leave that space there because it needs to be big enough to squeeze the cushion in. I've not fastened it off because I do need to continue, but you can see how our little cushion is forming. So I'll pop into one side. Now this I'm just going to very briefly tell you. My sewing skills are adequate. Maybe not amazing, but they're adequate. This does not have to be done on a sewing machine. What I did to get the size was I drew around my cushion when I'd done 1 square and got a little shape. I then made sure that middle part there was big enough for the cushion, and then I added on almost 1 centimetre all the way around, which is where I was going to stitch it. So I just drew it like that. So when I cut out my fabric, it was the full size, but I knew I was going to stitch just on the inner side. I think that's the right way around, isn't it? So I did use a sewing machine. I actually hand stitched that one because I couldn't get my sewing machine to work at that point, but I have sorted it out since, so I have stitched this. So I've just stitched 3 sides. It's just a plain bit of cotton. You could use a sock if you've not got any fabric in. To be honest, a sock would be quite good if you use the end of a sock, because you'd only have to sew over one end. You've already got the sides, haven't you? So I've just turned it round that way. I have my little bit of stuffing. Think about your stuffing. I use a toy grade stuffing, but if you're going to be washing this, for example, you need a stuffing that washes. I know some people sometimes stuff with things like cotton wool and things like that. It's not going to wash. You cannot wash cotton wool successfully. It just doesn't work. So I think that's a bit too much, actually. Take that out. So I'm going to stuff the little cushion. I am going to need them all. It's amazing with this stuffing. You think you've got enough and you haven't. So let's push it in. Now, ideally, I would have taken my iron to fold these in to make life easier. But I didn't, did I? Because I like to make my life difficult. So I want to fold both sides in. Like that, you see? So it's folded in nice and neat. And I'm going to do a little stitch over. So here is my needle. Let me turn it that way because I've already folded that bit better. I'm just going to take it through there. Doesn't have to be anything fancy because I'm going to be doing this a bit quicker than I normally would. And I'm just going to over sew. Try and keep it small. You're not going to see it, mind, but it's good practice to keep it nice and neat. Yeah, it's just gone over the 33. I saw it flicker, so I know it's gone on to the next one. But it does do it seamlessly, so it's okay. So I'm just doing a little stitch, little over stitch all the way. Got the machine, you could have just run the machine along the edge if you want. I prefer the overstitch to doing that though, because I just think it sits better. With this particular cushion, you're not going to know either way, but it's just how I would normally do it. I'm keeping it nice and tight. So ideally I should have ironed it. It's a bit difficult to put an iron where I am as well as everything else. That's the only problem. Not without me burning myself because I'm very clumsy. I'd rather have the ironing board separate. But it stayed nice and flat. We've been okay. It's just a little bit more fiddly to hold it in place. You have to hold it a bit tighter to make sure it doesn't pop out. And I'm going to make this the last stitch. And we need a little knot. Me being obsessed about things coming undone, I'm going to do a second knot. And then I'm just going to actually push the needle all the way through the fabric, like I do when I'm doing my crochet critters. And then we're going to trim it. So we've got a basic little cushion. It doesn't have to be anything amazing because it's inside. Nobody can see. But if you can make it neat, it's always nice. So we're going to push that little guy in there. So we have a little cushion bed. And then we will continue to crochet it closed. I said I wasn't going to do that with you, was I? But I think I will. It's only going to take a minute or two. And then these little bits are easy peasy. And I need to show you one of those. So off we go again, exactly the same as we were doing, and we're sealing the little cushion inside our crochet cushion. So it's like a cushion cover. We've made a cushion cover and a cushion. Please remember to sort of pop a comment there. If you've got any queries, again, just ask. Now that's from the original stitching, so we can just push that in. I should have sewn it in first, but it doesn't matter for demonstration. We are almost there. A couple more stitches. Last one. And we're done. We can fasten off. Ta-da! Obviously you've got to sew that little bit in, squish it all about, so you've got your little cushion. Now when I said about crocheting together, this is the reason. Can you see how we get a nice ridge here? And if you turn over, it's a totally different effect. If you were stitching, you wouldn't get that. So it's up to you. I like the crochet edge bit. Some people don't, so you don't have to do it. Now the fringing, it's just a basic tassel. We're going to cut, what, maybe, what do you reckon that is? It's not even a ruler length, is it? It's about 20 centimetres. And I'm just going to cut 3 of them. If you've done tassels before, you'll know what you're doing here. But just in case you haven't, I just thought I'd do you a quick show. Biggest needle I've got. Folding them over. And put all 3 through the needle. Just only pulling them through. So you've got a little loop. And the ends here. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. I'm just going to go from my front of my cushion, found my corner, so my corner stitch. I'm going to push it through. Don't go all the way. Take my needle out. Pull it a bit more. So these ends are now going to just pull through the loop. And we're going to tighten up as much as you can. Really tighten it. Make sure it's really, if you're worried about it coming undone, you can pop a little bit of PVA glue, or if you've got some fabric glue or something like that. So that is all we're going to do, and there we are. Now if you want to make these a little bit sort of curlier, which I didn't do with these, basically because, can you see, because your yarn is a twist, you can do this. This is also quite a good way of making sure it's not going anywhere, because it holds it in place. It's less likely to come undone if you've already done this. Do them nicely, because they will sort of separate a bit weird if you don't. So I'm just taking my needle in, separating them a bit and gently teasing them apart until we've got some sort of curly little tassels. Right, just one more to go. Or not, that one doesn't want to go. Sometimes you do have to be careful with them. But there we go, that should do it. Yeah, we did it. And can you see, it sort of gives it a better effect. You can leave it like that, there's nothing wrong with that, but that just gives it sort of like a frilly effect. And of course you'll be doing one of those in each corner. And that's it. That is your little cushion to decorate your Smartdoll abode. So I think it looked quite cute. You could do them in different colours. You could take it maybe down a size, do a slightly smaller one. But I think this is about the right size from when I was trying it out. So they make great bed scatter cushions. sort of just cushions to sort of take a photograph if they're sort of leaning on it. It's just a bit of fun, that's all. I decided I wanted to do a little bit of home decor, so there's going to be a few blankets coming along. I've got to think really home decor what I'm doing, but there's going to be a few bits and pieces coming along. So I hope you enjoyed that, although it's a little bit different, but it is still for our smart dolls. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe and share, and don't forget to click that notification bell as well if you want to be notified when the next video goes up. But again, thank you for watching. Got a doll unboxing from one of my birthday presents soon, so I think that's going to be the next video up. Otherwise, I'll see you all very soon, and thank you for watching. Bye.